Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday, June 4th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. A couple notes for those who will be calling in this evening. I think the number's at the bottom of the screen, but just to reiterate, the number is 269-637-0777. As a reminder to planning commissioners, please use your name when speaking. And when you're not speaking, be sure to keep your mic on mute. And lastly, we want to welcome aboard our newest member, Amy. So thank you for joining us. So we'll call this meeting to order, and first up will be roll call.
Thank you. Clark Gruber.
Here.
Larry Heinig.
Here.
Todd Heinrich.
Here.
Michael Neese.
Here.
Amy Nichols.
Here.
Rosalie Placati.
Here.
George Sleeper.
Here.
Janice Barney.
Here.
Tim Stegman.
Here. Moving on, item 3, the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
This is George Sleeper.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, I've got Clark. George chimed in first, so I'm looking for a second.
Clark Gruber will second George.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Seeing none, we will do a roll call vote for approval of the agenda as written.
Barney.
Yes.
Gruber.
Yes.
Heinig.
Yes.
Heinrich.
Yes.
Neese.
Yes.
Nichols.
Amy? Oh, she froze.
Oh, she may be frozen.
She
It
looks
appears their connection is
frozen.
frozen.
Yep.
Sure, air conditioner might have kicked on too.
Placati.
Yes.
Sleeper.
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. The agenda is written as approved. Next up, we will have the approval of the meeting minutes of the May 4th meeting.
This is Rosalie. I make a motion to approve the minutes from May 4, 2020.
This is Larry Heinrich, support.
Okay. Larry supports. Is there any other discussion?
I'm going to overlook the part on the tie, so I'm okay with that.
Okay. Seeing no other discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote for approval of the meeting minutes of May 4th.
Sleeper.
Yes.
Barney.
Yes.
Gruber.
Yes.
Heinig.
Yes.
Heinrich.
Yes.
Neese.
Yes.
Nichols. Placati.
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. Okay, next, item 5 is interested citizens in the audience will be heard on items not on this agenda. Once again, our phone number is 269-637-0777, and what's our time limit for call-in?
Well, we'll give them about a minute since there's the delay, and
Okay.
then each person has 5 minutes to speak. And we'll need everyone to say their name and their address.
Okay,
We'll remind them.
so if you're calling in, now's the time for items not on the agenda.
We've reached our 1 minute mark and we don't appear to have any callers at this time.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we have item number 6, which is the Health Service District. It's a text amendment to rename Article 12 and to add new sections 1205 through 1208 of the South Haven zoning ordinance to create a new health services district, along with the public hearing. All right, so Kate, do you want to give us a little rehash?
Sure. This is coming back to the Planning Commission after we introduced it in March and got some comments. Nick Curcio is also on the meeting to kind of fill in where I'm not, where I haven't gone into more of the changes here. But in brief summary, this is a proposed new district that would have a broad range of uses by right that would be either part or in support of the health or science industries. Would allow facilities such as medical, dental, and alternative medical, although not relating to the marijuana industries, and those kind of facilities. So pharmacies, both on-site and traditional drug shop, retail businesses, surgery centers, diagnostic and treatment facilities, assisted living, skilled nursing homes, health clubs, etc. We were listening to the Planning Commission when we had our last meeting, and so we have made some minor changes to the prior draft, which the red line is included in the packet. We've changed the references to pharmacies to say on-site production of drugs we changed the reference from on-site production of drugs to on-site compounding to clarify that industrial drug manufacturing is not permitted. We also added the historical institutions to the list of permitted uses, thereby bringing in the Liberty Hyde Bailey Museum, which is already located in that area, for the area proposed for rezoning. And that we also clarified that fencing would be not up to, or at least 6 feet, but indeed be exactly 6 feet, so as not to create any conflict with other zoning provisions. And just to kind of clarify, I know we got a little confused and on our last, when we brought this last to the PC, that all we're doing right now is just creating the health services district. We are not actually rezoning. All this is doing is just making the new district. I think at some point later we would like to maybe combine the PB1 of professional business and health services together, but that has not happened, and we are rezoning no property, so just creating the district. Nick, is there anything you wanted to add to that summation? Oh, Nick, you're on mute.
You're muted.
Oh, I apologize. That was a good summary. The one thing I would add is the basic idea is that the health services district would look a lot like the area shown on the future land use map for medical uses, but it won't be identical to that. So I think some residents came forward with some concerns about being rezoned at the last meeting. The exact boundaries of the proposed rezoning have not been determined. That will be a separate process, and everyone will have notice of that mailed to them within 300 feet of the proposed district. So this is just the first step to create the regulations, and then we'll go back and determine which properties the regulations should apply to. So.
Okay, prior to asking for a motion, are there any questions from the board to staff or Nick?
I have a question.
Todd?
You went on mute.
Todd, you muted it.
There we go. On page 17 of our packet, it mentions, I understand the ordinance and I agree with all the changes that staff has recommended. It changes to, it starts talking about a campus village at Lake Michigan College. And it seems to be, this paragraph starting on page 17 seems to be disconnected from the rest of the text. What relationship does the campus village land have to do with the health services district that's described?
Sure. this is an excerpt from the master plan, which the idea came out of. And so that top portion really is just a carryover from the previous page, and that's really not germane to what we're discussing here today. The only reason why this page is started in here is because the health services district starts in the lower core of the page, so that's why that's in there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Just raise your hand, I'll recognize you. Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Oh, yeah, to open the public hearing. Thank you.
This is Clark. I make a motion to open the public hearing.
This is Todd. I support that motion. To open.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to open a public hearing. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Placati,
Yes. Caught me sleeping. No, I'm only kidding. Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Neat,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Barney. I'm sorry, that should be Stegman.
Yes. Okay, the public hearing is open. As a reminder, callers, you can call 269-637-0777. Please state your name and you'll have 5 minutes to talk about the health services district. And I will start my timer.
Okay, we don't have any on this topic at this time.
Okay, thank you. With that, the public hearing can be closed. I'll entertain a motion. Clark, your mic's on, so go ahead.
This is Clark. I make a motion to close the public hearing.
This is Rosalie. I
Aye.
second that.
Or Rosalie, okay. It's been moved and supported to close the public hearing on the health service district. Once again, we'll do a roll call vote.
Neat,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Placati,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. So the public hearing's closed. Now, what we can do is recommend this is written or put some changes in it as a motion for city council to look at it. So I entertain a motion either way. George?
This is George Sleeper. I make a motion that the planning commission approve the proposed health service district amendment as proposed.
Okay, is there support?
I'll second. Clark.
Clark, seconded. Is there any other discussion? If so, raise your hand and I'll recognize you. Okay, seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Roll call.
Heinig,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Picati,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
and Segment.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to item 7, which is 229 Elkenberg. It's a rezoning application as well as a public hearing. Would you like to speak about that?
Yes, so we have here, now mind you, the address for this rezoning application is 229 Elkenberg, which indeed actually is the Overton parcel, but for these parcels were at some point conjoined, and that's why they have the same addresses. There is a proposal to separate, for A857, the parcel A857, on the notice that went out to all the neighbors within 300 feet of that for this rezoning. They're looking to rezone this to R1A. The city of South Haven will be hearing comments tonight about this rezoning. Mr. Joseph Shevich has submitted an application to the Planning Commission to rezone this property from I-1 light industrial to R1A single family residential. The property lies along Indiana Street, along the old Overton industry property. The parcel in question is 80-53-260-007-00. Mr. Shevich's intention, I believe, to make this into 3 lots of R1A, but before he can do that, this is a holdover from the old Overton factory, which was zoned I-1 industrial. Brad Cordova, the zoning administrator's memo, is here in the packet. Is there any questions for me or Nick Curcio on this item?
Todd?
Yes, I support it for all the reasons that staff has pointed out. It seems like this is where this corner of town is going and should go. I want to make sure that there was an industrial history here and a problematic history and I think there was some groundwater table room things. Does the city do any sort of notification or ask people who are wishing to develop this land, make sure that they understand that history? Is there some disclosure, full disclosure? That's my question.
No, the city has not done any disclosure because it's my understanding that the TCE plume that is behind factory condos, which was the focus of that, the remediation was NDEQ, but now Eagle, it does not extend to that parcel. In fact, my understanding is that it's just underneath where the Van Buren Trail is and does not extend any farther east. So in my mind, if there are any disclosures, it would probably come from the previous property owner.
Good, thank you.
Rosalie?
Thank you. I read your comments. I think it's great, of course, but the fact that splitting it into 3 parcels is not probably going to happen just because of the size of the parcel. So I was a little conflicted there. So he knows that's probably not going to happen, or where does that fall?
Well, that's a separate application that was kind of intimated to me and talking to Mr. Shevanich and in other conversations. I believe that he is choosing the R1A because of that it is the smallest lot size and it's the most adjacent, it's an adjacent property, residential use. He does have the ability to go to R1B or RM1. Those are also in the area. Rather, not RM1 because that's not adjacent to, but it is nearby. That property division would be going to the assessor, the zoning administrator, and I believe the city engineer to be done. But right now, he's asking to change it from industrial use to R1, which is a good thing since nobody really wants to have industrial in that little section.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Any questions? Mike?
Yeah, I agree. This is Mike Neese. I agree with what Todd said. I do think what was written up was very good, and I agree with most of it. My one small concern is, as we consider the larger plan for that area, is making sure that there's still some land reserved for some commercial development. That is, once the Overton project gets up, I'm hoping that there's room for small stores, small retail units to serve that community as well. So that was my only concern is, are we missing an opportunity to make that land available for some type of grocery store or whatever that might support the upcoming development there?
Rosalie?
Could I just comment on that, Mike? You've got A and D right there. You're not somewhat satisfied, at least, that there's a small grocery store of some kind. Maybe that can be improved, but that's right there too. You're looking for additional.
Well, if I may reply to that, Rosalie, that's one of the reasons why I ask. SCORE has been working with A&D on some possible improvements to his store, and one of the options we looked at, quite frankly, was relocating his store because he has a very small lot there, and there's some other interesting things going on with his lot and his property that, we'd like to remain open to the idea that perhaps Mr. Cobb would like to relocate closer, and if he was in the open parcels, not saying that's likely. We're just in the very beginning stages of talking to him about that.
Todd? Clark, you're on deck.
A comment related to Rosalie and Mike's. When I first looked at this, I thought, well, why are we just doing this one parcel? Why don't we do the whole thing? And I had the same idea that, we're not rezoning the whole thing, leaves it open. If somebody comes in there and wants to do some sort of mixed use development or land unit development that might particularly maybe the properties fronting on Elkenberg, make that more commercial or community service commercial. So that's part of the reason I support just this parcel being rezoned, single family residential. Thank you. This is Todd Heinrich, by the way.
Okay, Clark?
Yeah, Clark Gruber. I just feel like staff hit it on the head. This kind of gets the ball rolling for that area because this is the first step of maybe something larger coming. It would be awesome to look at a mixed use. I think Mike has kind of the right idea, but the individual right now has a light industrial piece of property, is thinking about residential use, which is good for the area. If he had come to us with something different, I think we would want to consider that. But because he hasn't, I'm not sure if we would want to deny this, hoping someone else is going to come forward with that particular project when this owner hasn't come forward with that as what they're looking for. So I'll definitely be supporting, but thank you.
Okay, anybody else with a question right now? Okay, so we need to do a public hearing. So I'll entertain a motion for a public hearing.
I'll make a motion to, this is Clark. I'll make a motion to open a public hearing.
This is Janice.
Okay. Janice supports. Is there any other discussion for opening a public hearing? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call.
Clark Gruber,
Yes.
Larry Heinig,
Yes.
Todd Heinrich,
Yes.
Mike Neese,
Yes.
Amy Nichols,
Yes.
Rosalie Placati,
Yes.
George Sleeper,
Yes.
Janice Barney,
Yes.
Tim Stegman.
Yes, the public hearing for the rezoning application for 229 Elkenberg is now open. As a reminder, you can call in to 269-637-0777. You'll need to state your name and address when commenting. And we'll wait for a caller or two. And I will turn my timer on. Brad's here.
Okay, we have 1 minute and we have no callers at this time.
Okay, seeing we have no public comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. George?
George Sleeper, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Todd?
I second that motion.
It's been moved and supported to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Placati,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. Okay, now we can move to a motion to approve the rezoning application and possibly, if you want, to consider the approval subject to conditions listed in the zoning administrator's memorandum. Anybody wish to make the motion, just raise your hand. Rosalie.
I gotta get some signs. I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning subject to comments detailed by the zoning administrator on, let's list it, 229 Elkenberg, parcel, the parcel listed.
Yes.
Okay. Is there support?
I'll second that motion. This is Clark.
Okay, Clark seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll do a roll call.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Placati,
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. Okay, next, we'll move to item 8, which is 1001 East Wilson Street, a special land use application, and we'll also do a public hearing for this one. So, Kate, if you want to give us a quick synopsis on 1001 East Wilson.
Sure. Before the planning commission tonight is a special land use permit for 1001 Wilson Street or East Wilson Street. Regarding Mr. Frederick's plan to use a pre-existing accessory structure, which was not previously used for vehicular parking, and is approximately 594 square feet in size, to use as a home-based business. The property ID number is 8053-870-02602 and lies within the R1B single-family residential district, which does permit home-based businesses by right. However, per section 401.11b states that if this home-based business anticipates customers visiting the premises, a special land use permit is required. Mr. Frederick is a physical therapist who would like to use the accessory building as a place for patients to receive physical therapy and exercise therapy services. Mr. Chairman, I believe that we received a document, some comments from a neighbor, I believe his name is Dick Cooper, which was sent out to the planning commissioners on Monday. We can make sure that correspondence is put into the packet after the meeting.
Okay.
And it appears Brad Cordova is the zoning administrator, has joined us. And Brad, do you want to give us some remarks on this item for the planning commission?
I apologize for showing up late, folks. I was actually just getting out of another planning commission meeting, so I'm doing double duty today. Can everyone hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm on a cell phone in my car. So, what 1001, what the applicant has proposed, as Kate said, is a physical therapy business. It's in an outbuilding that currently existed on site. It's a small building. I believe it was around 450 square feet, something like that. It was not very large. I drove by the site the other day when I was down at City Hall and took some photographs. The site is, the building itself seems to be sitting off of the eastern property line, roughly 10 to 12 feet. There is a fence in between the neighbor's yard and the property in question. It is set further back than what that particular building is. However, there currently is a fence in that area. The Planning Commission may consider asking the applicant to install something in some form of screening to possibly do that. Also asking the applicant about parking. He does have a very large driveway on site. The garage on his property is located behind this outbuilding. From what the applicant had told me, that this outbuilding used to be used as a food pantry for a former church that was on site. So as Kate said, it was something that was not used for parking or any vehicular type purpose, which would have been not allowed if it were that case. From a zoning administration standpoint, I really don't see much of an issue with this. However, I feel that the Planning Commission should really consider placing some form of condition on the use permit, stating that it will and can only be used for said purpose that the applicant applied for, such as physical or exercise therapy, and that there would only be one client on site at a time. When we hear from the applicant, you can ask him how many clients that would be visiting this site on a regular basis to get something. He had indicated in his application that there would not be very many visits given to the site. He indicated that he is retired, a retired physical therapist, and that the reason he inquired about this is because he had some former clients that had really enjoyed working with him and had requested that he continue to see them potentially. And this was just kind of an opportunity with this existing accessory building that he had vacant on site that he thought he may be able to use as a small physical training room. So with that, I can field any other particular questions if the Planning Commission has any questions for me.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Brad? Rosalie?
I just wanted to confirm something, Brad, that if we allow this special land use for this property, it stays with the property, correct?
That is correct. Any special land use degree or permit does run with the land. That was my reason for stating that this would be something where, in order to avoid a potential future land user to come in and then install their own version of some sort of homemade business there, that you know may want to place a condition on the permit to be used solely by this homeowner as a physical therapy rehabilitation, basically building.
Okay, Mike?
Hi, Brad. This is Mike Neese. I think I read that we can consider restrictions on hours of use. There are some other restrictions, but what the primary restriction I'm concerned with is not so much what Mr. Frederick proposes, but in the future, are there restrictions? Can we place a restriction on total number of clients per se? I mean, I understand his intent, but if his business takes off and someone else acquires the property and wants to use it for the same purpose, their business plan may be to grow the business, not just to deal with existing clients as you are phasing out of your business. So can we restrict the number of clients that are allowed to use that property in total?
I would say that it is probably most reasonable to restrict the hours of operation. Is Nick Curcio on the line also?
Yeah, if you go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I think that you could theoretically limit the number of total patients. Seems from a land use perspective, it might make more sense to limit. First off, the recommendation is already to limit the number of people there at a time. Limiting the number of trips there kind of seems more relevant than the number of patients. Number of patients is going to be very difficult for the city to track and to enforce. But it's reasonable to the extent that you could get that information and actually enforce it. Yeah. And I don't know if the applicant is on the call, but he might be able to weigh into what he's thinking, and maybe he would consent to something like that, which makes it easier, obviously.
That answer your question, Mike?
It does. I just to follow up on point of clarity. My concern again is not what Mr. Frederick intends to use. It's whether we can actually come up with restrictions tight enough that future owners don't look at that piece of property as a landfall and open a massage parlor there, open a hair studio. Just making sure that it seems like an awful big solution for a very small issue to rezone that particular piece of property.
Just to speak to that a little bit, this isn't a rezoning, and in my opinion, the application, even if you didn't place any conditions on it, it would be limited to a physical therapy business. I think that it's a good idea for you to expressly state that as a condition, just to make absolutely clear that that is the case. So I don't think you can come in with any home-based business for a future owner. I think it's got to be one that's very similar to this one. But to the extent you can place conditions that this applicant will agree to that further constrict the use, I think that's a good idea to do. And he might very well be willing to stipulate a number of clients, or maybe to stipulate only one client per day or something like that. That would then bind a future user and limit the use going forward.
Okay, thank you. Nick, Clark?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I was looking at, probably the most critical feedback came from the next door neighbors. And the only thing I could think of is, people driving in and out, depending on what hours of the day it is and how busy that could be. I would think limiting, the number of clients that are seen at one time, and at the same time being respectful of, if Paul has one client and someone shows up 5 minutes early, it would be really tough to have them driving around the neighborhood till they knew they could be on site. So I would think, with a small parking lot of 2 parking spaces, we could have a client there and a client in the parking lot. To me, that's 2 clients. So I want to be respectful of something like that happening if we were to go that particular route, because that can happen pretty easily. And I've been on site. I looked at both properties, have been at both properties in years past before. So I'm familiar with proximity. At the same time, I've also have had Paul's services in the past as well. And, I think if he puts together this business plan and this request, and we look at the future, which I think Mike is getting right to the point, which is, if there's a lot of us that think this is something that can really happen, and if we really make sure that it's the impact doesn't affect the neighbors, but it's always going to be the next one because it goes with it. So that's my only comments at this time. Thank you.
We have the applicant on the line. Would the planning commission like to hear from the applicant?
Yes, the applicant is on the line. Would you like to hear? Okay.
If IT can forward the applicant to the phone. Hello, you're on with the planning commission. Is this Paul Frederick?
It sure is.
Hi, Paul. If you'd like to address the planning commission, I know they may have questions, but I'm going to guess that you've been following along with the meeting. If you'd like to address anything that you've heard so far.
I'm happy to answer questions, I guess.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody have a direct question for the applicant? Larry, you were first to raise your hand.
Paul, how many patients would you expect in a day?
Well, it really is varying. I had my practice out on 73rd Street. It was a full-time, full blast kind of practice. I heard the word retired. I'm semi-retired is what I like to think of myself. I really want to keep things simple. So there would be actually one patient at a time. Through the day, I could see the maximum, 8 to 10 patients. I don't think that's going to happen because what I'm doing is I'm no longer taking insurances, and this will be a cash-only deal. So I think that's going to significantly limit, the availability of people being able to pay cash if my services come. So that would probably be the maximum, and that's an 8-hour, 10-hour day. So I don't think I'm willing to do that. I don't want to be working full-time. This is, again, just something to help some of the folks out and continue with my skills.
And where would you plan on their parking?
Well, we've got an area right behind the accessory building. There's enough that easily for 2 cars, as Clark was discussing, and it's a pretty wide driveway there. There's actually room for probably 4 cars there, but there's big space right behind.
Are you planning on any signage?
Not at the moment. I noticed, when I was reading through the rules and regulations, there's a 2-by-2 square foot attached to the building thing. I might have just a little OPTS kind of wooden sign that I could put on the edge of the building so people, when they pulled in, would know that that's the place they're going. But other than that, they'd be small.
And what hours are you planning on operating?
That will vary as well. I would imagine kind of a 9 to 5 kind of thing, 8 to 5, depending on, if I have it's a difficult, and I'm trying to keep it flexible with people. When I had the practice before, I had people that needed to be at work and they would want to come in at 7:30, and I had people that got off of work at 5 o'clock and then couldn't come in until 6. I really don't want to be in those early hours or late hours anymore, so I'm kind of figuring the earliest 8 and the latest 5. And I'm not even going to make that a full work week. I think Fridays I don't plan on doing any work at all, and if I can keep it short and sweet, I'll be happy.
Any other questions, Larry?
Yes. How much of the accessory building do you think you will be using?
Inside, pretty much the whole thing.
The entire floor area?
When I moved out of the practice, Larry, what happened is that we had this building that's been sitting here. In the past, it's been used for storage. It's been used for, my kids' friends to sleep in and stay in. It's been a playroom. It's been a storage. It's been a lot of things. And I love to exercise and work out, so I brought some of the equipment from my previous clinic here,
with the idea of forming a family gym that my family could use. And as I was putting it together, I kind of thought, well, maybe I could still see a few patients. You know, I didn't when I closed the practice. It wasn't by my intent to do that. The new landlord came in and wanted to raise my rent $1,000 a month. You know, for the first year, $200 more the next year, and $500 more the next 3 years, and I simply couldn't afford that. So it was a very difficult thing to close the practice that I had, and I love what I do. So I thought maybe I could see some patients here a little bit and still help some people out.
Okay. Do you anticipate selling any product?
No, not in big product. You know, occasionally I'll have patients that'll ask for a lumbar cushion that I have, maybe some exercise bands. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. That's the questions I have now.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Mike, you had raised your hand. Are you still have a question?
I do, Tim. Hi, Paul. Mike Neese. We haven't had a chance to meet. My wife is a client of yours and absolutely raves about your work.
That's very kind.
Larry asked most of the questions. I just have a couple more to follow up on there. Are you seeing clients currently?
No, I did do a couple telehealth things over the COVID thing here, but other than that, no.
Okay. One of the things we've been talking about is coming up with some type of hours of use restriction. Would you be comfortable with that? And what would you need that would best serve your clients, yet be amenable to some of the property owners that aren't really looking forward to this?
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Like I said, I don't want to work the hours that I did before. So it's going to be a matter of, at the earliest, I would say it would be 8 o'clock, the latest at 5 o'clock. Then during the week, I don't plan any weekend hours. But yeah, I'm flexible with that.
Am I reading correctly, or am I making the assumption correctly that you're not really looking to grow your business here? You're looking to take care of a clientele that you've previously got established, and to that end.
Well, I don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
And to that end, am I also clear that you would be the sole practitioner in that building? That there would be no massage therapist working with you, no other physical therapist. It would be solely you as a sole practitioner.
Yes. To that question, I'm the only person here. Number two, growing the practice. No, I don't want to grow the practice, but I don't want to. I would still be taking referrals from physicians in the area that have referred to me in the past. So it's not a matter of growing it. There's only so much room. This is a pretty small space, like we talked about, one person at a time. So I don't see the ability to grow it, and nor do I want to have what I had before. I just would like to keep busy, take care of some patients. And as I mentioned earlier, being a cash-based business in the physical therapy world, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of folks that are going to be able to do that. So that's my goal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? George.
Paul, one of the things that'll probably happen is this will get approved with some kind of restrictions, and one of the recommended restrictions is that the site will conform with any ordinances applicable city, county, state, and federal statutes, rules, and regulations. Have you at all investigated what it would take as far as potential upgrades to the building to make it suitable for a medical practice that you're interested in? I'm not sure what kind of upgrades that might be, whether it be electrical, life safety stuff like smoke detectors, sprinklers, or anything like that. I just wondered how far you've investigated that.
Well, having owned the practice before, I was kind of familiar with a lot of those things. So there's smoke detectors in here. We have a fire extinguisher. I have an AED, automatic defibrillator in. that I had to practice. There's really not a whole lot of anything else beyond that. You know, if I'm not taking insurances anymore, I should be good with that. If I continue to take insurances, I had to follow Medicare guidelines. I would have to have some other things probably that they would have to come and inspect and approve. But again, the biggest stress and the biggest headache I had when I was in practice was insurances. So I had a full head of hair when I started, ended up with not so much, but yeah, as far as those federal and state, local things, I follow the physical therapy guidelines. You know, I've already, if this is approved, I've already set up the guidelines from the CDC with the masks and the hand sanitizer and notes on the door. And so those things have all been looked into and should be good.
Okay, anyone else? Amy?
Hi, Paul. Amy Nichols. My
Hello, Amy.
question is, hi, how are you? I told Kate when I heard you were doing this that I was pretty sure I bought your first practice. I was such a repeat customer because but this is one of my questions. Yeah, I know. I'm good now. I can walk now. It's great. My question is this. I know you had a billing person doing all of your billing. Are you still going to utilize that person to send bills, or are you just going to, this is a cash when we pay? Because that makes a difference into the number of people on site and what we're allowed to have. You're allowed to have one person. So that's my question.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, ideally, in the perfect world, they would come in and pay at that point in time. My daughter, Anna, has now gotten her billing certification, and we can pretty much do that virtually now. So it's almost like a virtual office where I can put in a charge and a bill can be sent if we want to go that route. I will also have a credit card scanner so I can scan a credit card at that time of service or take a check or whatever. But the appointments and things can be made online. Anna can do that for me. I can take calls and make those as I need to. So does that answer the question?
She won't physically be in the building then, right?
Anna?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No, I will be the only person in the building.
Thanks.
Anna has her own place, and like I said, when I use my medical record, what will happen is I can make the charges, and the charges will then be, she can pull up her her medical record and see what charges were placed that day, and then send bills out if we need to.
Perfect. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody else? Todd?
Yeah, this isn't for Paul. This is Todd Heinrich. Just a general comment. I'm pretty familiar. We have a few friends and acquaintances along Wilson Street. It and many other nice neighborhoods like this are very diverse in South Haven. There are many home occupations, a couple within sight of 1001 Wilson Street that have commercial vehicles and heavy equipment and all kinds of things. I hope we don't get too far with over-regulating this or overthinking this. This is probably one of the least intrusive home occupations that will exist on Wilson Street right now today. It's not nearly as, in some ways, it's less intrusive than a short-term rental that might be run in a single-family residential neighborhood. And he's a great neighbor. His testimony by all the letters and that things. So I don't expect his 30 years of track record to change. I think he's still going to be a great neighbor and still respect all of his neighbors. I just hope we don't get too bogged down in site plan review or things like that. That's my comment.
Okay, anyone else? Very well then, let's move on to the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion. Larry?
Mr. Chairman, I move we open the public hearing for the special land use at 1001 East Wilson.
Okay, Clark?
Yeah, let's go.
Sounded like Janice did the second.
Oh, you had your mic on. I can see who has their mic and who doesn't, but
Yeah, I
either
was
way.
preparing as well.
Okay. So Janice, did you make the second?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So it's been moved and supported to open public hearing. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, we'll do a roll call.
Placati,
You caught me drinking my pop. Yes.
I'm sorry. Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes,
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Segman.
Yes, the public hearing is open. If you wish to talk about 1001 East Wilson Street special land use application, please call 269-637-0777. And we'll wait for a caller.
We have no callers on this topic at this time.
Okay, thank you. Seeing we have no callers, I'll entertain the motion to close the public hearing. Larry?
Mr. Chairman, I move to close the public hearing.
Mr.
Okay,
Chairman, if I
Joe?
may interrupt, we do have a caller on the line if you'd be willing to accept it at this time.
Oh, absolutely. Hold on, Larry, we have a caller. Caller, please, state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes to make comments.
Caller, you're on the line with the Planning Commission. Can you state your name and your address, and you'll have 5 minutes to speak to the Planning Commission.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. This is Dick Cooper with my wife Lisa. Our address is 1019 East Wilson Street. I am the adjacent neighbor to the east of Mr. Frederick. We're currently sitting about 100 feet apart from each other and in different homes. But we are calling, we have a little different view of than the rest of the neighbors do with their reference letters for Paul. We will be the most affected property if Paul gets his business based on just the location of the shed versus our house and his house. It's approximately 10 foot closer to our house than it is his house. Well, we were a little discouraged in the fact that he sought out all these references from all of our neighbors and never bothered to talk to us. So that bothered us a little bit. Then we heard we were going to have customers. We figured 1 or 2 a day, and I just heard Paul say he's going to have 8 to 10 a day. Now that's quite a bit of traffic in and out of that driveway, and basically in my backyard, if you will, where they're going to park. We can clearly see cars coming and going, hear the doors opening and closing. We really strongly encourage that this doesn't happen. You know, we're in a residential neighborhood. We bought our house 20 years ago. Like Paul said, it's been a shed for 18 of those years. And, you know, this just doesn't fit in with the residential neighborhood that we bought into. I'm curious as to knowing what my property values will be if this business moves in, and then also my potential list of who I can sell my home to with a business right next door, 30 feet away. So those are my concerns. 8 to 10 customers sounds like a pretty full-time job to me, but I'm not in the physical therapy business. And I would like to go on record as stating that I would give Paul a glowing reference as well as a physical therapist. I had 2 total knee replacements, and Paul did a great job helping me recover, but sure don't want this business in my backyard. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. And you're, just to clarify, you're the property to the east?
Yes, if you look on the map that was sent out, the 300-foot notice area, I am property number 570. Paul is 572.
Okay, very good.
And the shed sits right next to my house on the easternmost part of his property, and his home is on the western part of his property. There's an empty lot between him and the neighbor on the west side. So if this business goes in, it's going to affect me the most, me and my wife and my family.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling.
Okay, my name's Lisa Cooper, and my husband just spoke.
Okay.
But, yeah, so listening to this and the agenda before about this health service district that is being proposed and was just approved, I was wondering if that might be a more suitable location for this type of business. My concern is that there are available places to rent or lease for this type of business instead of bringing it into a residential neighborhood. I could understand if there's no place that you could possibly rent, lease, and that, you know, that everything was all rented out. That would be wonderful for everybody in South Haven. But the fact is it's not, and that now it's literally one step out my back door. One step. I am retired. I am home the majority of the time. I am outside my vegetable garden, but right up to this parking area, I have a deck, I have flowers, I have a dog, I have a she shed, I love my yard, but the fact is that this is literally one step out my back door. So that's my concern, my privacy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is that in the call?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Is there anybody else?
IT, is there anyone else?
We have no other calls on this topic at this time.
Okay. All right. Now we'll entertain the motion. Larry?
I move we close the public hearing.
Okay. I think George, you were...
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and supported to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Neese?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Placati?
Yes.
Sleeper?
Yes.
Barney?
Yes.
Gruber?
Yes.
Heinig?
Yes.
Heinrich?
Yes.
Stegman?
Yes. Okay, so now comes the time when you have the special use permit application. You've seen letters of support. You've also heard a neighbor call in with the alternative view. So I would suppose now would be the time for possibly a little further discussion, or somebody can make a motion in regards to the application. So I'll wait for somebody to raise their hand and I will identify you for, okay, Michael?
Yeah, I think again, this is Mike Neese, and I'm very sympathetic to Paul and his desires. I'm at that stage in my career too. I do run my business out of my home. Of course, the difference being my clients don't come to me. They have much nicer places to visit than my little pink office here. But, you know, and I do understand the desire to keep costs to a minimum as he's moving forward. I used to own an office building downtown on Phoenix. I paid rent in Old Harbor for years, had my office, and it's really saved me a lot of money to be here. So I get that. I get that. My sticking point has nothing to do with Paul and his business. My sticking point has to do with granting a special use to me is a very big remedy for a very small issue. If indeed I read his sentiment that this is just to keep his core of clients, which I've done. You know, I'm semi-retired. I've kept the people that I want to keep and I work with. If that's the case, I'm not so certain there aren't other alternatives, such as office sharing, space sharing, that he might not look at. Again, nothing to do with Paul, just for me, using zoning that way, especially when you have a neighbor that says, no, 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 no. When I moved here, it was zoned R1B. I expect us to live up to that zoning and keep my home the way it was when I bought into the neighborhood as well. Now, having said that, I think the only thing that would move me away from a no vote is to hear the restrictions that we'd like to put on this. I too was under the impression that he might see 1 or 2 patients a day. Seeing 8 to 10 a day also strikes me as being a full-time medical office as well. And that would certainly sway my opinion on whether we should grant this permit. Ultimately, though, my primary concern, and actually maybe my only concern when I get real about this, is not what Paul's going to do with that property, but what doors we're opening for the next use of that property. I'd love to hear from Brad, if I might, on if this permit is granted, can there be any kind of construction or redevelopment of that property? Can they add room? Can they add a floor? Can they build out on it? Can they change it? Or are we just approving a special permit use that says that has to stay within the confines of sitting there right now? So that's where I'm at, gang.
Mike, just to answer your question, no, he cannot expand that business whatsoever. The way it's outlined in the zoning ordinance, if the business is in the home itself, it cannot be larger than, I believe, 16% of the floor space or something on the main floor. If it's in an exterior building, the building cannot be altered in any way, shape, or form. So, no, it cannot be increased in size. He's stuck with what he has.
As would be any future property owners, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
George.
Yeah, this is a kind of a question for Brad and maybe for Nick also. So, Brad, I wanted to say I thought your memo on the review of this special use was very thorough and it really helped me out to understand this. So thank you for that. And I noticed in your recommendation you have a number of conditions for this approval. And one of the things I was wondering is it possible to set one of the conditions as if the property is sold, the special use is rescinded?
There is nothing in our ordinance that states that is possible. Nick can help out with this, but I have heard of other places that have done that. But Nick, go ahead and explain that.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's not possible. I think special uses by their nature under state law run with the land. But again, I do think that, first off, I think that it already is, just by the nature of the application, limited to a physical therapy business. But I think you can specifically state that in the conditions, and that will definitely be enforceable. And any other conditions that are placed on the property would also be enforceable against the future property owner. And the provision of the ordinance itself. So as Brad mentioned, no expansion and things like that. The hours of operation in place would be binding on a future owner. Any patient limitations if you want to go down that road. Those types of things all run with the land as well. So that's how you address it. Rescinding is not. I think it's very legally problematic. So.
Larry, and then Clark, you're on deck.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion here with conditions. If it would help to get that on the floor so we know what we're shooting at, I would be happy to offer
Okay.
it now. Or would you like to take
Yes.
time?
Yeah, you can make a motion, and I just ask that you say it slowly, because I think this is going to be a one that you've thought up and we don't have in front of us, so we can take notes as you're going along. So,
I will do, and slow me down if I'm going too fast.
Okay.
I move approval of the application for a special land use at 1001 East Wilson Street with the following conditions. Number one, as stated in the staff report as number one. Number two, the same as stated in the staff report. Number three, the same as stated in the staff report. I'll wait for a couple of people to look up at their camera so we know we're ready. Okay, number four will be worded this way. The applicant shall comply with the following hours of operation. Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. Number five, as stated in the staff report. Number six, any signage shall not exceed 2 square feet in area and shall be mounted flush to the existing accessory building. Number seven, as stated in the staff report. Number eight, only physical or occupational therapy services will be added. Number nine, only one client at a time and no more than 8 in any given day will be allowed. That is my motion.
Okay. Is there support for Larry's motion?
This is Clark. I will second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Now, is there any other discussion regarding this motion? Clark?
I may want to amend the motion such that if he's can do 8 patients in a day and he's got 1 patient inside that he's working on and 1 patient in the parking lot next door or, on site, because that's only 2 cars. I think we need to somehow allow that to happen because it sounds like he would be in violation of having 2 patients on the property at the same time. Another overlap's going to happen.
Well, Todd had raised his hand, so I'm going to call on him. And while I'm doing that, why don't you think about how to make a amendment to the motion, and I'll circle back to you. How's that?
Okay.
One quick comment on that. I believe that limitation actually comes from the ordinance itself, and I can pull that up quickly to confirm. But Brad, is that your memory as well? The 1 client property at a time is an ordinance limitation. Let me just.
Yes, that is correct, Nick.
Right. So I think that the situation you're describing would just be something that have to be handled from enforcement discretion. If it's literally just a 1 or 2 minute overlap, I think that the enforcement officer would overlook that. But it's not something I think that the planning commission would waive because it's actually in the ordinance.
Okay, and I wanted to do that to help that particular home-based business be successful as opposed to, just making that, especially if it's winter and someone has to drive to get there and he's only seeing 2 patients the entire day, and one happens to be waiting in a warm car and the other one is inside. I didn't want him to be in violation, so I appreciate that. So I guess I'm not going to need to to make that, so you won't have to circle back around to me, Chairman.
Okay, very well. Todd?
No comment at this time.
Okay. Anyone else? Janice?
Yes, I think I would like to add appropriate screening, whether it be natural or fencing, but something appropriate between the parking and the neighbor's yard.
Okay. Nick, would you like to comment on that?
I don't really have any comment. I think that that's something that you could consider if you thought it was necessary for the application to meet the requirements, specifically the no adverse impact on neighbors requirement. That would be something you could consider.
Okay. And Brad? Oh, go ahead.
I do have a suggestion on that, because that may be a bit vague as what is appropriate screening, maybe appropriate screening as determined by the zoning administrator.
Okay, because we know when development happens, we have landscaping or fencing requirements in a lot of situations. And of course, this is a residential area, so those don't really apply as written in our ordinance, but it could be made to happen for a special use. So Brad, would you like to comment?
I could work on something with Mr. Frederick to do that. As you said, what we have primarily is outlined for commercial or industrial operations for screening. It really doesn't apply for businesses in residential areas, except commercial businesses butting up, like commercial districts butting up to a residential area, kind of not in this special use situation. But I can definitely work with Mr. Frederick to come up with something to create an appropriate screening between the site and the neighbors.
Okay. So Janice, would you care to wordsmith a item number 10 to add to Larry's motion?
Well, I'm not sure of the correct phraseology here, but to include appropriate screening that is amenable to the neighbor and Mr. Frederick.
Okay. And probably also add a caveat to that Brad will be involved in that determination, correct?
I would say as determined by the zoning administrator.
Okay.
Just tack that to the end of the motion.
Okay.
To the end.
All right, so that'll be item 10, and this will be additional amendment to the first motion. Look for a second. Is there a second?
I'll support that.
Okay.
This is Todd
Been moved
Heinrich.
by Todd to add that. So now I'll have to do any other discussion on this amendment to the motion. Michael?
I'm sorry, Tim, I wasn't speaking to the amendment, so.
Okay. So now we'll vote on the amendment to the motion, and this will be a roll call.
Heinig,
Yes.
Neese,
No.
Nichols,
Yes.
Placati,
I want to clarify, this vote is simply for the amendment on the motion, correct?
Correct. To add item
yes.
10 to the original motion.
Right, yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. Okay, the original motion has been amended to include this item 10 regarding screening. Okay, so any other discussion on the amendment? Clark?
I guess my only discussion on this amendment in front of us now is if this home were to be sold and became a business short-term rental, I think the potential neighborhood impact, could be equal or as in great, and that can just happen. Or, if your house is filled with teenagers across the street, or even when our kids all had a particular car, I saw just as much traffic as having, patients spread out, over 1 hour intervals, or even driving up and down the street, with Meyer being down there. So I think the amendment that Larry put together will help not only with the amendment as well, protect the neighbors, but also protect the property, with the next owners, if they potentially decide to do a physical therapy business or exercise business or not. So that was all my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Michael?
Yeah, I guess I understand Larry's offering, and I don't disagree with most of it. The issue that I still struggle with and will continue to struggle with is, first of all, I think if we are considering 8-hour days for 4 days a week, that's no longer a business of a retired physical therapist just hanging on to old clients. That's a full-time medical practice. And that changes my whole image of what's going on at that property. Now, the other thing that I'm uncomfortable with is I can't allow myself to judge who's being reasonable here, Mr. Frederick or the Coopers. That's not mine to decide. Mine is to decide how zoning impacts the neighborhood. And to me, if the property that borders most directly, and if I'm to understand it, he's closer to the auxiliary building than Paul is in his home. And if he has issues with it, then it's going to be hard for me to support it. But I would consider supporting it if we would roll back those hours a great deal so that this is truly a part-time, take care of my existing clients continuation. Again, I just don't want to open the door for any future use. Rezoning just seems like such a huge solution to a small individual issue. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, that's item 4 in the motion, which stated Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. What would be your alternate?
I would like to see those hours. The days of the week are not as important to me, but I would like to see those hours cut in half, either morning sessions or afternoon sessions, but not full day sessions.
Well, in order to change it, you're going to have to give me an alternate motion to amend.
Right. I would make a motion that we limit the hours of operation on property to 32 working hours a week. Wait, that's not right. Hold on. 16 patient contact hours per week.
Within a certain time frame, though? Between 9 and 5?
That's correct.
Okay. So Mike's making a motion to amend item 4 to 16 hours between 9 and 5. Is there support for that amendment?
This is George. I support that.
Okay. It's been moved and supported. Any other discussion? So now we'll move to a roll call to amend part 4 of the original motion.
Uh-huh.
You got it?
Okay. Heinig,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
No.
Picardi,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
No.
Heinrich,
No.
Segman.
No. but it passes.
Yes.
Okay, so the original motion has been amended to include days of Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5, with a maximum of 16 hours a week. Everybody got that? Okay, Todd?
I'm curious if Mr. Frederick's still on the line, if this is a motion that he would want us to continue with. If this is, this isn't, I don't think what he was asking us to do. So I'm curious whether or not, if he's still on, if he wants us to continue this motion.
Well, the Plan Commission's working through this. This would be what I would say to you, Todd. We're working through this. We're going to come up with what we think is right. And if the applicant doesn't like it, he can come back and we can go through this again. Okay? So we have a motion that's been amended twice. I think everybody's clear on the amendments, correct? And is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing no further discussion, I think we can move into a vote for the motion as amended twice. And we will do it by roll call.
Do you want me to do a restatement?
If you want to, you can.
It might be helpful for Marcia when she's doing minutes. So this will be a motion to approve the special land use application for 1001 East Wilson with the following conditions from the packet on page 40 of 75. As written, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7, with the modifications to 4 to read, the applicant shall comply with the following hours of Monday through Friday, 9 to 5
Thursday.
p.m. Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5 p.m. with only 16 patient contact hours in that period. Condition 6 to read, any signage shall not exceed 2 square feet in any area and shall be mounted flush to the existing accessory structure. With the additions of condition 8, only physical therapy / exercise therapy to be allowed. 9, 1 patient at a time, no more than 8 per day. And then condition 10, appropriate screening as determined by the zoning administrator.
Correct.
So we'll go into...
Everybody understand? Okay.
So we'll go into the roll call.
Roll call.
Neese?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Placati?
No.
Sleeper?
Yes.
Barney? Barney?
Janice? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Gruber?
Yes.
Heinrich?
Yes.
Heinig?
Yes.
Stegman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Okay, we've had an hour and a half. Does anybody need a couple-minute break? George? Okay, so do we need to do a motion on that, or can I just declare
I think we might just want to have you declare that. Also, Mr. Frederick is back on the line if you want to take his comment.
Is he? Okay. Before we take a couple-minute break, we have Mr. Frederick back on the line regarding the 1001 East Wilson Street application. So we'll take his call out of courtesy.
Mr. Chairman, it appears he has disconnected.
Okay.
Okay, very well. All right, so let's do, is 3 minutes enough for everybody? rather than 5? 3? Okay. We'll, what?
Yes,
3
works.
minutes. Okay, 3 minutes, and then we'll come back. Turn it off?
Mute it?
Yeah, mute it. Mm-hmm. All right, welcome back to the June 4th Planning Commission meeting. So far, we've gone through 8 items on our agenda. Next up is number 9, which is the South Haven Memorial Library, 314 Broadway Site Plan Review. So, Kate, I think you can give us a quick synopsis for this one.
Sure. This is a proposed expansion and renovation of the existing South Haven Memorial Library. The South Haven Memorial Library is, I believe, has been deeded to the Joint Building Authority, which is a new authority created with the City of South Haven and the South Haven Charter Township. This is to effectuate, I think it was a millage for these improvements. We do have Ava Marsh on the line, as well as Brad Cordova, to kind of go over some of these, the changes that are being sought here. And I believe this is Ava Marsh, and I'll answer the phone. Hello, caller, you're on with the Planning Commission. Can I get your name and with your company?
Hi, this is Tony McGee with Avamarch, longtime listener, first time caller.
Thanks, Tony. Tony, can you go over the proposed renovations here at the South Haven Memorial Library for the Planning Commission, please?
Yes, a significant amount of the work is actually within the building itself. The building itself is 3 buildings that have been kind of combined together over the years with very efficient, inefficient HVAC systems. So a lot of the work will actually be more appropriately tying those buildings together with a more efficient HVAC system. In addition to the gut rehab of the entire building, there's going to be approximately 1,474 square feet of space added onto the building. 1,024 square feet of that space will be on the west side of the building, out behind it, kind of towards the buildings that are the visitor center there on library property. There'll be another 450 square feet on the front side of the building added towards Broadway. All in all, the project, when it's all said and done, will be 2,962 square feet.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any questions for the engineering firm? George?
Yeah, I noticed in looking at the site plan that the existing water and sewer lines were going to be left alone, and I didn't know if that was because that they didn't need to be done, or you're not really doing anything to the building that would make them to be changed. But I didn't know if how old the water line was, if it was old lead service line or anything like that, if that was known, and if that might be an opportunity to incorporate that. It might not be the time to do that, but that was the question I had.
No, that's a great question. The reason we're not replacing the services right now is they are in good shape and within their useful life. If it's not believed to be lead, if for some reason we discovered it was lead as we got into the project, we would obviously replace that so it met all current Eagle standards.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, George. Anybody else? No? Okay. Oh, Todd.
Kind of on the same vein, you mentioned these are 3 buildings combined. I missed that when I was reviewing it. What is the age of the oldest structure? Do you know?
I'm sorry, I don't have that information at my fingertips. I apologize. They're pretty old. They date back a ways. Yeah, pre-1950s, I want to say, or in the 50s.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Chairman, I know that Ava Marsh has been working with the city of South Haven. I know that the engineering review did say as not approved. I know the engineering will be working with Ava Marsh. We may just want to say, I know that they've proposed some changes, but I guess I would just make a condition to be considered by the Planning Commission that they just have engineering department sign off on the items that were not approved in their memorandum.
Right.
And it appears that the fire marshal has signed off, and I believe that during the zoning administrator's review, he does have some recommendations to be considered.
Correct. Yeah, Todd.
I just found my notes from this. this is, I don't know if this is engineering question, but the library shares the parking lot with the post office. And the comment from the staff says it's difficult to determine if the existing parking lot for the post office is intended to be used as part of the library parking. If this parking is still to be used, then sidewalks should be put into place. We don't have a good property description that delineates those two pieces of property. Are they? I'm curious.
Tony, I know we've kind of gone back and forth the parcel legal description. Can you address the commissioner's comment question?
Yes, and that's been a thing we've had to work through over the past year. Actually, different records had different ownership on different pieces of the property here. There is some property that was post offices that we thought was library and vice versa. The parking lot itself will be the post office and still is. We will be constructing sidewalk up along the post office parking lot there. So if somebody does park in there, they can access the sidewalk to get to the building. Additionally, we will improve the access to the rear of the building by the farmers market. Currently, that's the largest municipal lot, obviously downtown, and a great place for people to park when they go to the post office. However, there's not an accessible route from that parking lot to the post office itself. So as part of this project, we will be building a switchback ramp system from that parking lot to the building, so the handicap access now will be granted from that municipal parking lot behind as well.
Does that address your questions, Todd?
Yes. I guess it's kind of puzzling to me because whenever I go to the library, I park in that lot to learn that it doesn't actually belong to the library. I wonder, has anybody approached the post office and said, hey, can we work out some agreement so that, things like this good fences make good neighbors, come up with some use. I think you've already addressed my question. But
yeah, we actually did approach the post office about buying that parking lot as part of this project. However, the price that was thrown out of there was at a level and exorbitant enough that we couldn't make it work and gain control of that lot.
Okay, thank you.
Brad had turned his mic on. Brad, was there something you wanted to say?
I was just going to state that a few months back, I know that the city assessors were working with the post office to try and get the proper delineation of property lines over there. So I know there was a small adjustment being made. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head exactly what that was, but there was an adjustment that was being made to redraw the border between the two parcels. Again, I can't give you the details on that. However, I do know that was something that was brought up to the assessor's office, and the assessor did notify me that there was some work being done with that.
To speak to that, and maybe Attorney Curcio could chime in. When Tony from Avonmarsh did say that there was real confusion as to who owned what. We had gone through a vast majority of getting the process with USDA to get the loan, only to find out. And when I say get the loan, having the post office sign off on that, only to find that the library actually owned it. And Nick, I see you there. Can you kind of speak to some of these title issues?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if this actually pertained to the parking lot portion. Tony might be able to address that better than I can, but there was a portion of this project site, and again, I'm not exactly sure which portion, where we thought, and the post office also thought, that it was the owner, and the title work came back with some very confusing information that by the time we ultimately dug through it, we came to the conclusion that the library actually already owned that land. So we had a purchase agreement with the post office that we ended up terminating, and just based on this deed that was found from I believe it was the 1950s. I'm not certain that any of that is relevant to this current question about the parking lot, and maybe Tony can chime in on that. But I do know that the ownership in that entire area is a bit murky, because of the way things were done a long, long time ago.
Hey, Nick, it's Tony. And your recollection is correct. The parking lot was never part of the area that was in confusion about ownership. What it is, it's the area directly behind the library where those steps are now that go down to the parking lot, as well as some of the gardens and plantings behind the library. That was an area that was believed to be post office land by everybody that we found out was actually library land all this time.
Thank you. Any other questions from the planning commission?
Clark?
My only question would be if I were to offer a motion and add a stipulation, would that be that the engineering department will work with library towards approval of their review? Was that what you were looking for, Kate?
Well, look at page 45 of your agenda, under the recommendation in the second sentence.
Site plan would be in accordance with the city statutes and regulations. Not sure if I've got the right 45, if I'm on 71.
I see it on 71, and then,
No,
oh,
that one?
yes, yeah.
Basically, it said, consider approval subject to conditions listed in the ZA's memorandum in the city engineer's review.
Yeah, I think that's in the recommendation. That's page 71, correct?
Okay. Well, I've got a printed one here, and it says.
It is,
Okay.
and if you go back to page 45, that's where I kind of summarized of all of the reports that we had received on a staff report.
Okay, because it was the one staff report that actually has the not approved, everything else was good. And I wanted to make sure that I just included that 1 through 6 and then adding 7. But if you think that would be acceptable and with engineering department, then I would be able to do that at the proper time. Thank you.
Did he make a motion?
No,
Did
he
you
didn't.
make a motion?
I did.
Okay.
You were still in the discussion phase, and I was going to wait until you wanted a motion.
Oh. I think, make the motion, and then we know exactly what we're discussing.
All right, then I would make a motion to approve the site plan in a site plan to include recommendations 1 through 6.
Yes. I think does that cover all of the,
No, it doesn't include the city engineer's review.
and the city engineer's review?
And the city engineer's review.
Okay. I think that's more detailed.
And that's
All
what
right.
I was looking for, the one from Mike Dopp. Thank you.
Yep. Is there support?
I support.
Michael Neese, supported. Now, is there any other discussion regarding the motion that's out in front of us right now? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to a vote. And as always with these virtual meetings, it's a roll call.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Placati,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Barney,
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. Oh, and is the engineer still on the line?
Tony, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep, right here.
Just a quick question regarding the foyer at the library. There's a memorial plaque there. Is that being retained or moved?
That is being retained, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's it for that one. Now we'll move on to item 10, and
Yes, sir, great evening.
Thanks, Tony.
it's election time. So planning commissioners need to elect a chair, vice chair, and a ZBA liaison. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we need Kate to tell us what that's about, so what do you guys want to do for this year?
Well, if Tim and Larry feel comfortable continuing in their roles, I would certainly make a motion to make them, but I want them to know if that's going to be done. Tim, would you take another year, and Larry the same way?
I think yes, because I think after we did the last couple years, all the hard stuff's behind us now, isn't it?
Wait till next month.
It should be an easy job.
Yes, I'm available.
Okay, how about you, Larry?
Yes.
Okay.
This is
So
Janice.
we're willing.
That motion.
Well, I haven't made the motion. I wanted to make sure if I did that that they would step forward. I certainly didn't want to put them into a spot that they didn't want. So I will go ahead and make the motion for Tim Stegman to continue as chair, Larry Heining to continue as vice chair, and Larry Heining to continue as the ZBA liaison.
Okay, Janice supports. All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, we will go to the roll call.
Barney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes, if I can vote for myself.
yes, you can. Heinrich,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Cotty,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Stegman.
Yes. Okay, we're set for another year. Next up, item 11, the staff and commissioner comments. So I guess we can go with staff first. I know you have some important announcements for us.
I do. So as of Monday, Brian Bissett announced his formal leaving of the city, where we will greatly miss Brian. He will be going to Berrien County to be the county administrator down there. The city council did move to appoint me as interim city manager, so I'm sitting in that role. Thank you. So because of that, I'm going to offload my number of boards and commissions. So at this will be my last meeting with the board, with the planning commission. Brad Cordova will become your staff liaison, so he'll be conducting these meetings with you. And I know we have a number of upcoming things. We still have the Coastal Zone Resiliency Program that we're doing with the South Haven Charter Township, as well as Caswood Township. We have the all-season site plan that should be coming to your next meeting. We've had some big things that happened this week with the lifting of the executive order, phasing into retail stores completely being open with occupancy limits, as well as the restaurants and bars. So we will be continuing to, we're probably going to keep on doing virtual meetings from the public until the end of June. But your next meeting is more than likely to be in person with the public here. So just know that we're going to make those arrangements, make sure that we're following the CDC guidelines. It's been a pleasure serving you. It's been a fantastic number of projects we've done together. So good luck.
Okay. Thank you. And I guess I'm going to go across the screen and I'll ask for comments. Janice?
Oh, I just want to thank Kate for all that she's done for the Planning Commission, and congratulations on your new role.
Thank you.
Rosalie?
Oh, Kate, I'm going to miss you. But I know you're going to do a great job. I don't think I could do this without you. So thank you for everything. Now, on the flip side, though, I am going to say I am disappointed in that last vote for 100 Wilson. I'm very disappointed in that. Having listened to the homeowner. That's all I have.
Okay. Larry?
Well, congratulations, Kate. I hope you survive one more step up. you keep moving up and don't give up anything underneath you. So that my best wishes go with you. Amy, welcome. Glad to have you on board. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Larry. Michael?
First of all, thanks, Tim and Larry, for taking on the leadership again. I really appreciate it. I know we all do. You do a stellar job. Kate, we're going to miss you at these meetings, but I am so thrilled you got that interim position. And I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I can't wait for that interim to be removed. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm really happy to see Amy. Looking forward to working with you. I had a chance to work with Amy a little bit on some other projects, and going to be fun. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Clark?
Yes, I too want to welcome Amy. I've heard a lot about her, so it'll be, wonderful to meet her. I'm wondering, and hopefully we'll be done with the virtual meetings, but if we have to go back to virtual meetings for some reason, if we could get like a 1 minute caller on waiting, for us to listen to instead of dead air, that would be awesome. And I don't care what music we come up with, but just something. I also appreciate Tim's concern regarding the memorial plaque in the library. Tim is a huge historian, especially when it comes to South David. So jumping on the fact that at one point in time, someone created a plaque to commemorate something, and then to have that potentially gone, I'm glad that he brought that up. And then Kate, you're going to be missed immensely on Planning Commission. I think it's great you're going to be interim. I hope the best for the future, that we don't get you back on planning. So I'll just put it that way. But, the future will bring that. So we'll just see. But thank you all. And that's all my comments, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Clark. George?
I want to thank everyone that called in to participate in the process. It's really helpful to have that kind of input, and that's much appreciated. Also, congratulations to Kate, and yeah, you will be missed, but you'll still be around. So appreciate everything you've done for this body. Welcome to Amy, and Tim, I hope you didn't jinx us by saying that all the hard stuff was over with. That's it.
I think I was being a little facetious, but go ahead, Todd.
It's no fun to go last. Everybody else is kept. Welcome, Amy. Adieu, Kate. I just was appreciating how diverse a group we were here tonight. Larry, your attention to detail is really welcome. Mike, your insight, bringing in different points of view that sometimes I would overlook. It's just a lot of experience here, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Todd. And then Amy.
Okay, well, Kate, I'm gonna miss you. One and only, one and done. I feel like I chased you off. I hope not. And thank you for being such a welcoming group and understanding that, technology has its shortfalls, and that, I should have bought an Apple in the first place. So there we go. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amy. So yeah, it looks like possibly next month we'll be back in chambers, so that's good news. And I'll reiterate what everybody else has already said, but we will miss Brian. Kate's not going to go anywhere. She's going to be here, just not on our board helping us directly. So I wish her good luck. And for George and the rest of the council, I think it's very, very good that they chose to bring her in as interim, and hopefully that'll turn into a permanent position. So I hope they don't wait too long to make that decision. We do, as Kate said, we do have a couple big items coming up, and that's why I'm looking forward to us meeting in person, because some of these are going to require a lot more discussion. And you could see on one item that was relatively simple, took quite a long time hammer it out virtually that normally we wouldn't have to do with all the roll call type votes, but such is life. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I think it's the first time we've had a full attendance from Planning Commission in a while, so that's kind of exciting because it brings all the different experience that all of you have, and that's important for the Planning Commission. So with that, I hope everybody has a good month, and we're going to have 4th of July with no fireworks, but that's this year. Next year will be better. So we'll see you in July, and with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Clark.
It's been moved by Clark to adjourn. Is there support? George? Or Larry?
Amy should make that second.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? As always, with the virtual meeting, we have to follow up this vote as a roll call.
That's right. Sleeper,
Yes.
Varney,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Heinrich,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Picati,
Yes.
Segman.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and have a good evening. This meeting is adjourned.
I will.